I'm sorry, what?
Not
Drive
that one.
what and eat what?
The one outside the sphere.
Oh, yes, of course. Drive fast and something. I forget.
And eat healthy food.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Is there anybody there?
What's up, Data Crew, and welcome to another episode of the Data Chronicles podcast. This week, it's a good one for you guys. This week, I have my good friend Paul Caputo and Eric Profitt of the Earn Front Average podcast, along with my co-host and wonderful friend Val, Sitting Food Girl. So this week, the four of us, we had a really good, funny discussion on AAA Baseball Championship. I was supposed to make it, didn't make it. That goes into the episode. You guys are gonna laugh. Now, the first couple of minutes is just us talking. It was I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to delete that part and then just start with the interview, but it was just too funny. Well, enjoy. Oh, he is not. No. So,
now the recording's going.
Yeah, now the record. I'm going to stop that conversation. How's that?
I was gonna ask Paul to talk about the T-shirt, but now that we're recording, we'll have to leave that for later.
You can put it. I mean, I'm going to use it on the podcast. I'm sorry. What?
Not
Drive
that
what
one.
and eat what?
The one outside the sphere.
Oh, yes, of course. Drive fast and something. I forget.
And eat healthy food.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Hi, Val.
Hi, sorry. I know we're recording.
Val all of a sudden is too good for us, and now she's working.
We're doing like a big boot sale, so I'm like updating the website real quick.
Whoa.
Eric likes big booties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. He's hungry for it too, remember?
I cannot lie.
Oh my God.
Amy, at one point, Amy asked my wife, she's like, is he upset? My wife goes, no, that's just his face.
I have no idea why Amy would have asked that question, too. I'm like, what are you doing?
Hold on.
I get that all the time, though.
That's funny.
They're always like, what's wrong with him? She's like, nothing. That's just his face.
My brother once had an accident when he was skiing, and I was there with him, and my nephew was there, my nieces were there, my kids were there. And so I went into the medical tent. They like put him on a stretcher and pulled him off on the snowmobile. And I went in with him, and my nephew was there. My nephew's all upset, wants him to be okay. And so finally, like, they send the nephew out of the room, and my brother's son, and they come to me and they're like, your brother seems like really out of it, and he's like answering really short, and he seems like, pretty upset. And they're like, is that typical? Is he okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's just him. He's pissed. He's pissed that he fell and made a show of having to get hauled off the mountain.
Uh-oh. Atlanta's one out away, boys and girls.
Sorry, Arizona.
I know. I feel bad. That's the only thing. I feel bad for Arizona.
I can't imagine how frustrating that was to watch that. If you're there, apparently the players are all there, like with their bags packed, ready to go wherever they were going to play.
Yeah.
Who, Arizona?
Yeah. They said they're going to the stadium to either celebrate
it's over.
with champagne or take their bags and go home for the winter.
Yep, They're going home for the winter.
So who's playing where then?
That's a good question.
So the Mets are going to Milwaukee.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't think that was true. I thought the Mets were going to San Diego. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm wrong. I think you're right.
Yeah, no, I think it's Milwaukee.
All right.
That's wild.
It is.
Right? I was right?
No, I was saying, it's wild.
So it hasn't been updated yet, but Kansas City got Baltimore. Bro, you got a tough one.
Actually, I'd rather face them right now than Houston. Baltimore struggled more in the second half than Houston did.
You know what? Detroit and Houston, that's going to be a good series.
Well, after tomorrow, when it's, I don't know who Houston's throwing game one, but Detroit should win that potentially, you would think.
Hey, There's a funny tweet here. It says the wives and girlfriends never left Milwaukee. And it's all like the wives and girlfriends are celebrating with wine. It looks like that's funny.
Here we go. All
that
right.
game was wild.
Well, let's get started. Stadium Food Girl, are you ready to go? Are you happy? You good? You good?
Yeah. Yeah. I can.
Multitask?
Yes, I can.
Are you sure?
I'm
She was
almost
in-
done.
She was anticipating Paul being here 15 minutes late.
No, I usually don't work this late, but she apologized and was telling me sorry that I'm doing this so late. And so,
Yeah, sure.
okay, actually, give me like 30 more seconds.
It's not like
you
I
were right.
rushed
New York
home
Mets
for
will
this or anything.
face San Diego. You were right, Paul.
Say that again.
They are going to San Diego.
Mets are going to San Diego.
So where's
Yep.
Atlanta going?
Milwaukee? No. Starting
SNY
to-
Mets says Mets will head to Milwaukee after celebrating their playoff berth.
What the hell?
So who's
Okay, let me let her know I'm done. Okay.
correct?
Atlanta goes to San Diego.
It's not updating.
Updated. Name change.
It says Braves earned playoffs for 7th straight year. Game 2 doubleheader. New York versus New York. Oh, and we'll face San Diego. So okay, so yeah, it's Braves and San Diego.
Diego.
And they've got to be there tomorrow.
Hey, that's on them. That is not on.
Well, it's actually
They should have
on
played
the
better
schedule.
throughout the year at the end because they faltered at the end. So that's their fault.
That's funny. Yeah, I guess it is their fault. Oh, I mean, injuries got them too.
Who gives a? Everybody's got injured. You know that. All right, so let's get started, and then we'll get Val here in a second. You know.
Actually, 5,
Diego.
4, 3. Hold on, I'm updating the website. Wait, what's the web?
Wells.
Hold
I
on
really
to.
wanted-
Wait,
What'd you
5.
say, Paul?
I really wanted one of those whales. Those,
All right.
The exploding whales.
no,
Okay.
not the exploding whales. I wanted the
Oh, the one from Vegas.
the aviators whales.
Yeah, me too. I wanted a lot.
Yes.
Not that
All
you
right.
couldn't have gotten one, Paul.
Well, they just didn't have dad hats, and and the shirt they had was like the moisture wicking that I just sweat up and smell terrible all day when I wear.
Oh
those.
God, yeah. They smell like
those?
what just died.
Yeah. So I just wanted a cotton whales t-shirt, and they were like, "Nah."
Man, postseason is righty. I love it.
Let me get your boy on the line here.
Oh, we're twins.
You just noticed
I
that,
know.
Val?
She was working.
Yeah. I just closed my laptop and my screen for work.
You ready to go?
Yes.
All right. So let me get started here. By the way, Cleveland number 2. Just wanted to put that out there. You know, just. Anyways, I know, right?
A Cleveland number 2.
Well, I mean, it's better than playing in the wild card.
I think that's called a steamer.
I was about to say that. Is that the Cleveland team?
Oh, I hate
All
you all.
right. Thank you.
This is the theme for this day, isn't it? Let's go with that as Paul drinks his beer or whatever you're drinking, Paul.
I am drinking a Horse and Dragon Fire Captain Irish Red Ale. Because Irish Red is my nickname. Also Fire Captain.
Okay, we're going to go with that. Anyways, all right. Well, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Data Chronicles. My name is Ed, also known as the Data. With me, as always, Michael, who is my good friend, Val, the Stadium Food Girl. How you doing today?
Hi, I am doing so great. I'm so excited to talk on today's episode. It's going to be a fun one. Love me my Mondays.
Yeah, well, it's so much fun for you guys. I'm glad that you guys are really enjoying this episode today because this is going to be such a great one. I'm just kidding. Not really. Okay, so with us, we got 2 guests today, all right? We got 2 degenerate people that decided that said, sure, we'll join this episode today. Totally kidding. Love you guys. We got Eric, also known as the influencer. You guys know him because he's on our show all the time. You know, the Data Chronicles Sports Show. You know that show, right? And then our good friend, Paul Caputo.
Howdy, Ed.
known-
Howdy, Val. Howdy, Eric.
Hey. So we're here to talk about Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
We out. I'm so excited to talk about this trip. It was such a fun trip, let me tell you.
Wasn't it though? We were so glad to see you there.
Oh my God, I had such a blast.
Let me tell you this: there was plenty of room in the car.
Plenty of rooms and plenty of anyways. We will get there. So, but I guess I must have to say that I was not there.
We weren't.
I was not. I was there in spirit. I really wanted to be there. So Friday, obviously, as you guys, everybody knows, there was a hurricane that went through. They turned out to be a tropical storm over by North Carolina. 2 hours before my flight was scheduled to leave, they canceled my flight. And said, "Oh, by the way, we rescheduled you as well for Saturday morning." I'm like, "That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for telling me." So that's one night that I had to work on, try to get it refunded. And then I get there on Saturday morning. I literally wake up early. I go to the airport. Like I'm there like 2 hours before I even had to board, right? Because I could not check in. They would not allow me to check in because I don't know. So I get there and then I try to check in. They said, "Oh, go to an attendant." That was fun.
It's always good.
Yeah. Whenever they tell you go to see an attendant, you're screwed.
Yep.
Done. That your day is done. And so I was like, okay. So they try to get me on the flight, but by the time they got me on the flight, it was going to be like around 8:00 Vegas time. Landing 8:00, not 8:00 at the Vegas ballpark, but 8:00 airport. And it was just like, forget it. I was not able. It was done. I was done. So
I woke up to a picture of you at the airport, and I was like, "This is fine." But then I also woke up to a missed call from you, which I evidently slept through. I was like, "This can't be good news." And then I read the rest of the text thread, and sure enough, no Ed. I have to say though, your friend Val, Stadium Food Girl, believed until the very last second. Like I was playing blackjack. It was 4:00 in the afternoon. Eric had his car, and we were getting ready to leave.
Stalking mode.
We had Shannon, Eric's wife Shannon. We had Shannon's friend Samantha, and then of course Ranger Amy was there with me. And we were getting ready to leave the Excalibur around 4:00 to get out to the ballpark for gates open. And even then, even at 4:00, I'm sitting there playing blackjack at Excalibur, and Val calls, and she's like, "You guys on the way? What's going on?" And I said, "Yeah, we're on the way. We're coming." And Val's like, "So, Ed's really not there? Is Ed really not coming?" She's doing flight tracker.
Oh no,
she's like,
I know. She sent the screenshot of it.
She's like, "I don't see any canceled flights."
Listen, look at all these planes coming in.
Yeah.
I'm such a psycho for that, but I have a flight tracker because I'm always tracking.
Because you're always traveling.
I'm always specifically tracking Korean Air from Vegas to Korea because that's a dream, but that's for another pod. But I was like, you can't trick me. I'm a female. I'm a woman. I threaten my fiance every day with this. You can't pull a fast one on me. So,
I did not pull a fast one. I really wanted to be there. Trust me. After I seen the pictures and everything, I'm like, man.
Yeah. So you were posting videos, you were hanging out with your daughter Mia, Ed, and
we talked, and I was like, no, dude, I'm really not going. I'm like, I'm like at my daughter's gymnastics practice.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was literally there talking, looking at all these little kids. I wanted to throat punch a couple of them. So, but that's like for another pod.
But this was the only time I've ever heard Val be anything than just pure, just like bubbly happiness, right? Like she was genuinely just like, "Oh, he's not really coming."
I was so sad. It was going to be such a party. We were going to celebrate Ed's birthday. I was going to finally meet you and your wife.
I know.
And I was like, "Val, can we focus on what matters here? I'm up $70 at the blackjack table, and I got to get back to it."
I'll see you later, okay? I gotta go.
And even my fiance, because I was updating him like real time with everything. Like even Ed, when you were like, you had sent us, me and Paul, a message separate. You were like, "Hey, I'm tricking Eric." Like, whatever. And I was updating my fiance in real time. I was like, "Oh, so this is what's happening." And then so I was updating my fiance, and even my fiance was like, "Yeah, no, like he's gonna show up. He's not about to trick us." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, he's not about to." And
I almost wanted to, like, if it would have happened, I was like, guys, I'm not gonna make it, and then I would have shown up at the ballpark. But no, like, it really was like I was trying everything. I'm like, listen, I need something here. They were even trying to put me to like 3 different airports so I can get there and everything, and it was just wild.
Yeah, so we're like at the ball game singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in the 7th inning stretch, and Val's like, "Where's Ed? Where is he really?"
I know he's coming, right? He's gonna just show up all of a sudden. Nope.
No, it was awesome. I got to meet Eric. I got to meet Shannon and her best friend Samantha. We went to the hockey game on Friday. That was so fun. So glad you guys got to check out that arena. And Eric got his helmet, his nacho helmet. We got ours too, and they were doing a giveaway, a really cool pin giveaway. The goalie for the Golden Knights. They gave us pins of the goalie, and it was so cool.
What? I got to miss all this.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Eric, don't say much, okay? Please.
Yeah, those little goalie masks that they put ice cream in, like the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers that I've seen. They had a little bit bigger size ones for nachos. So Val got us some. So we have a kind of oversized hockey goalie mask with nachos that came in it. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, T-Mobile Arena wasn't quite sold out, but there was a pretty big crowd for an exhibition game.
I was just going to say, I mean, it was exhibition games. So
yeah, but it was Utah. We got to see Utah for the first time in person.
Utah nothings against.
So do they still not have a name?
No, they're playing. I think the entire year without a name.
I'm sure they'll allow the fans to vote on it towards the end of the season, and so
yeah. Darla was asking us like, who is this team Utah? I'm like, that's the Utah Hockey Club right now. They're known as a Utah Hockey Club for now. It's not really an expansion because it's a team that was originally Phoenix.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, okay. So let's hear it. Okay. Let's hear it from when you guys got there, because that looked like a lot of fun. And I'm very happy for you guys. I really am. I'm, joking as I was like, I'm happy that you guys got to enjoy it. A little jealous because you guys got to enjoy it and I didn't.
Well, first of all, I have to say that like all of what Val went through to make this a special evening was incredible. Like the stuff that Val set up for us to make sure that like we got in there, got treated like royalty. I mean, it was pretty wild. Like being at Chef Gary's. I mean, listeners to this podcast know Chef Gary. Being at Chef Gary's chef's table, in the suite area upstairs was just. I mean, it was the food was incredible, the vibe was incredible up there. The air conditioning was incredible. Although I should say that Eric and Ranger Amy and I spent most of the game out in the seats watching the actual ball game. That's not true of everybody who was there. So I was very, very grateful to Stadium Food Girl, who we had never met in person in real life with an actual meat space before that evening. And so that was incredible. And then just, Chef Gary, the team, everyone just treated us so well. And so I was very grateful to Val for that. And the other cool thing that we haven't mentioned yet was Tyler Maughan.
Yeah.
Tyler Maughan of Minor League Baseball somehow recognized us and like approached us, and he was like, "Hey guys,
you."
Well, I'm trying to show a little humility here, but like he came up to us, he approached us, and was just like, "Hey guys, Tyler Maughan." How cool was that, right? Like to meet Tyler Maughan, and like he was so approachable and friendly, and just like chatted with us, and that was and. Man, what a distinctive, recognizable voice he has, right? Like, immediately, like, hey, I know that voice from a million podcasts, and so that was very cool. So it was just, such an amazing, positive energy the whole night. I would say the only downturn was that Eric's Omaha Storm Chasers didn't really show up. They
decided not to show up to the game.
Val also. Took the over.
It's typical Kansas City, so
yeah.
Val took the over 10.5 runs.
I took the over in that game, and I parlayed it with the Dodgers Rockies game. Also was set at 10.5, and so I gotta go cash that ticket.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That was and Val had her over covered by like the bottom of the third inning. I mean,
Yeah,
it
no,
did
definitely.
not take very long.
Yeah, that was it was on MLB Network, by the way. What other network was it showing that game? Do you know?
Oh well,
Eric?
it was as everyone knows. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric was gonna say.
No, I was going to ask Paul if you know what it was on.
Oh, that's right. I gotta ask Paul. That's the guy that knows.
Everyone knows. Every minor league baseball fan worth his salt knows that the Bally's Live app carries all of the minor league baseball games. And everyone in minor league baseball should know that and should have known it for a long, long time.
Yeah, like 2 hours previous.
I have something to confess. Ed, if the show gets canceled, I'm sorry. So we're walking on the main concourse at the stadium, and there's a bunch of booths set up, like, just promoting their brand. Bally's is there, and they're passing out free Bally's t-shirts, which I have. I love mine. And so the lady who was passing out the Bally's shirts was like, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you get one? Because it had the minor league logo on it, and so that's why I wanted it. And she was like, oh, do you have the Bally's app? And I was like, no, like, why would I have the Bally's app? Like, what's on there? And she goes, well, it's how you can watch all the minor league games for free. And I was like, and I accidentally said this out loud because I was like, what? I was like, oh my gosh, I've been illegally streaming them. Like right next to her. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. But I downloaded the app. She gave me my shirt. No more illegal streams. We're doing Bally's.
So embarrassing.
No illegal streams that night. Maybe the next night. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad that you guys are able to find it on Bally's Live. Which, by the way, going bankrupt, and then the Cleveland Guardians don't know if they're going to be streaming next year on there. Whatever.
Oh boy.
Even if they go bankrupt, they can't take my T-shirt away or my rally towel.
That's right.
They'll
From
never
Eric's
take
cold
it.
dead hands.
Also, the stadium was also running an incredible sale that night. I finally got my Gamblers jersey, 50% off. I was so excited.
I'm so excited for you guys on the merch.
We got to meet.
It was the best. Let me tell you more.
Speaking of merch, we got to meet Tom, former guest of your podcast, Tom, in the merch store.
Tom Brazil.
Yeah,
he was great. Enjoyed talking to him. And then Val brought Tom's boss. What was his name?
Ed.
Oh, his name was Ed. So we did have an Ed. So it's all right. It worked out for us. We had all the Eds we needed.
Dude, you're a jerk. Why are we friends?
Because we're going to the Arizona Fall League next month.
Unless I get canceled. Because I had to beat Eric on that one because he was ready to just fire that one off.
Ed, I will say, without betraying Ed's confidence, man, he sat there and answered some questions very honestly, and I'm excited for all the work that he is doing with that Aviators franchise. So, let me say this too. One of the things that we commented on a couple of times was with the Oakland A's of Sacramento moving to Sacramento. Is this the only franchise in sports where a player might not want to get called up?
Dude, right? Because it'll be a downgrade.
That Aviators ballpark is gorgeous, and to get called up to Sacramento, I'm like, I don't know.
We were having this discussion, I think, with you, Val, right? I was like, you know what? Maybe not. I'm good at AAA right now. Yeah, I'll stay.
I think it was when we were
keep the per diem.
Your brother and
yeah.
Is it really a promotion if they go from AAA to the majors if they're in the Oakland A's organization?
Is it really?
Yeah, but it was awesome. We got there so early. We got there right before gates open, maybe like 10 minutes before gates open. We went to the team store, we looked around, and then we did almost like we didn't go completely around the stadium, which we should have because I wish you guys already saw the pool. You guys have seen the pool, right? And so, okay, yeah.
No.
Oh, my fault.
Ed has not seen the pool.
And then we got taken up by Robert. Shout out to Robert, social media manager for the Aviators. He's awesome. And then we waited upstairs. Chef Gary came up to us, gave us our wristbands, and we ate all night. I ate one of everything, you guys. I had one of everything. And
I didn't do that, but I kept going back for the prime rib. I kept getting more prime rib.
And me and Shannon and I, we were upset. The vegetables and the mashed potatoes with the cheese, like that was the winner.
The plum puree?
Yes.
Okay, Eric, are I know you've been talking a lot. I'm going to tell you to slow down here a little bit. But tell me from your experience, how was it, my friend?
It was a lot of fun. Sorry I couldn't get a word in here with Patrick Jr., so I'll go ahead and jump in here now. But so when we got to the ballpark, even before we walked in, they had a little separate section for T-Mobile users, whoever had T-Mobile service, and then you got like a free little phone charger, a little charging bank from them, and it actually took longer to get in through them because they're like, you need to download this, and I was like, because normally I'm like, oh, this will be, let me show my T-Mobile, and then I could just go right in. No, it took a lot longer. So they're all just standing there waiting for us to come in. And then we started looking at the team store, and then like Val disappeared, and she's like, come get the donuts. And I'm like, where? She's like, by the band. I'm like, I don't know where the band's at. So I finally went over and found them, and they had, what company was that, Val?
So the name of the company is Saint Honoré. It's a luxury, like a couture donut shop here. I'm sure you guys have seen her on social media because she just hit 1 million followers. She owns Cafe Lola, which is massive here in Las Vegas. They
have these really cool and fun donuts, but then some of them, not all of them, but some of them had the logos of both teams. Mm-hmm. So you could get one with the Space Cowboys or the Omaha Storm Chasers. And so, of course, they're like, what flavored donut you want? I'm like, I don't care as long as it has the Storm Chasers logo on there. So they got me one with the Storm Chasers logo and had that. As soon as we're eating our donuts, somebody walks by and they're like, you want a C4 energy drink? And like everybody just was like passing out free stuff. And so
it was funny because I could have sworn I was laughing because you were like, I want the Omaha Storm Chasers one. And I could have sworn they gave you one without either logo. Who was
that was me. I got one with no logo.
Oh, that was you.
I was going to say mine had it on there. Yeah, they gave me the Storm Chasers one.
But I had the chocolate salted caramel, and it was delicious, and I didn't care whether there was a logo on it.
Paul did not care. Like, I don't care. Give me the damn donut.
Yeah.
I want to eat it right now.
I needed a logo. I needed two. I told my fiance, make sure you get that one, and then I'll get the other one.
Yeah, I saw you post a picture with both of them. I'm like, this girl just went in there. I need.
That was my picture. I took that picture. That was.
Well, I apologize.
And I only bring that up because I learned so much about Instagram from Val, just like sitting there watching Val do her work, and like,
it's crazy, ain't it?
Becoming a collaborator on one of Val's posts, and like I opened up Instagram later, and it was like, you have roughly 1 million notifications, and I'm like, wow, I must have done something really awesome. And the really awesome thing I did was to accept Val's invitation to be a collaborator on one of her posts.
Well, it's because I sent a collaboration to the minor league account, and they accepted it too. And
yeah.
See, that's good. See, I'm so happy for you guys.
I am riding Val's coattails right now with Instagram success.
Oh, that's funny.
But the other one that we collaborated on was, so Eric and I went in search of the yellow aviators helmets.
I saw that.
Yeah, those were great. With, as Eric pointed out, because we experienced this at the Durham Bulls game as well, they had the Dole Whip and the pineapple Dole Whip with the vanilla ice cream. And I have to say, the aviators concessionaires were just like the best. They were so friendly and would sort of do whatever for you. And we had a really great time, just like even just going in search of some ice cream helmets. So we got the yellow ice cream helmets. We couldn't find the orange ones, even though Val asked around to see if we couldn't track them down somewhere. Couldn't find the orange ones, but we got the yellow ones, and they were pretty great with the pineapple Dole Whip and the vanilla soft serve.
Speaking of which, we also met one of my good friends, Adriana Ruiz, who works real close with the head chef of the El Paso Chihuahuas, Chef Maria, and she came out to the game because the food company that works with the aviators, they also supply the food for the Chihuahuas, and I'm so happy you guys got to meet her. She's awesome.
She was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I explained to her, I was like, yeah, I collect these little ice cream helmets, and so is my friend Paul. She's like, I got a bunch of El Paso ones. So she followed us on Instagram. So we'll see. But yeah, Val, I wish you would have introduced me to her when I was in El Paso.
You're annoying. That's annoying.
Tell her.
So a lot of victims on this call tonight.
Ed, if you don't know,
there and literally, when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be awkward?" The guy that turned down free food from the person that's here, but it's because Eric was at a Chihuahuas game and I had texted her and I was like, hey, what do you recommend? I have a friend there. And she was like, bring him on up. We'll give him food. And then I texted Eric and I was like, go get some food. This is from who? And he goes, no, thanks. I'm not hungry. And I'm like,
what?
I literally just had a dog bowl,
Who
literal
cares?
dog bowl
You
full
grab
of
the
nachos.
free food, you go up there and you say, what do you want me to get? You go up there, okay? Even if you have to give it to a kid later, you just go up there.
Yeah, Paul, give it to a kid.
Give it to a kid. Listen,
Give the food to a kid. Don't give the baseball to a kid.
I was full in the third inning, and I really tried. Like we had for lunch, like for real, we spent the afternoon sort of walking around Vegas, playing a little bit of the table games, hanging out. We had like a very light lunch. We had like a mid-afternoon snack of like one of these like granola nut bar things just to get some protein and tide us over so we didn't end up hangry before the game. And so we went to the game. We went to the ballpark pretty hungry, which is, funny because it was like taking us a minute to get the wristbands for the chef's table. And we're like, no, it's fine. It's cool. Like whatever. And then meanwhile, Eric and I are like, we're dying. We're so hungry. Mm-hmm. And then so finally we get the wristbands and Chef Gary is awesome. I can't wait to see the photo that we took with Chef Gary on his camera that we haven't seen on social yet.
He already posted it.
He posted it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God. Well, I gotta go. Okay, I gotta go find that. But anyway, like that, it was so awesome to see him, and he was so much fun. He was just like he sounded on your podcast, like this fun.
He looked
right.
Oh,
But then they were like, "Go have at it," right? Like, go have at the chef's table food. Oh, Val's still wearing her wristband.
She's going back this evening to get more.
Right. I'm going back later to get me some more food.
So by like the third inning, I'm completely full. And it's still like, nope, I got to go back. And so I ended up, I think, having 4 servings of the prime rib. I had two of the hot dogs with like the shredded pork and like the elote sauce on it. And then of course, it's so good. And then like the mashed potatoes. And then of course, Ranger Amy's like, oh, vegetables.
What?
Ranger Amy's eating vegetables.
You don't go to a ballpark and eat vegetables. You go to a ballpark to eat really bad food.
It's like the 7th inning, and Ranger Amy's like, I was like, I'm going to get more prime rib, and she's like, oh well, like grab me something like savory. So I was like, okay. So I come back with the pomme puree and another hot dog. And Amy's like, I can't eat all that. And so I ended up eating my prime rib and then all of the food that I brought back for Amy because I have a hang up about food waste. I don't like food waste. And then Amy and I went for a 3-mile run the next morning in like 100 degrees in Vegas.
Did you throw up?
I did not, thankfully.
Almost like, all right, I'm ready to go back running. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. But to Ranger Amy's point, those vegetables were so good. I probably had like 3 plates of them. The broccolini, oh my gosh, so good.
We're talking about vegetables, guys, at a minor league ball game, right? Like, I mean, this is not to make fun of it, but like the fact that like the food has been so much elevated, like from what when we grew up, eating to now as adults, like eating broccolini for God's sakes at a ball game. Roasted. I apologize. My bad. But you know what I'm saying?
I have to like every single thing that we experienced was just like this is like everything was just like this is so much above what I was expecting. Like every experience was just so cool. The ball. I mean, I'd seen the ballpark before, so I know it's a great ballpark. The ballpark's great. The food was amazing. The weather was perfect. Meeting Tyler Maughan, like that was great. So like just everything about it. With the exception that we missed Ed. We kept saying it. Like we're teasing you right now, Ed, but it would have been different there without you.
Except for Eric. He didn't want me there.
Okay, Paul, let's tell him. So Paul had mentioned that he missed your texts and your calls Saturday morning, but he didn't mention why. So he gets in 10 o'clock or so Friday night. We had went to the Bellagio to see the fountains before the hockey game. But then we wanted to show Samantha because she had never been, so we wanted to show her when it was at night.
The fountains are pretty cool at night.
Yeah, so after the hockey game, we walked back down to the Bellagio. So I hit 29,000 steps on Friday.
I'm sure
just
you
because
did.
we went so much walking. But came back, and Paul had just I was like, well, I said, we could come pick you up. He's like, I know it's going to be late. We'll just Uber. I was like, well, we're heading back now. But at that point, he had already been basically getting in a cab. So he got there. And then so we ended up meeting up at probably close to 11:30 or midnight. And then we went to Johnny Rockets inside Excalibur. Paul and I had a beer. Amy had a ice cream float. And then we sat there and chatted for an hour. And then Amy was basically falling asleep. So Paul's like, well, okay, we probably better go. But if she wouldn't have been there, or if she would have just gone to bed by herself, we probably would have talked for another 3 hours just about podcasting. And at one point I just said, the only thing missing, and I slapped my hand on the booth, the booth seat next to me. I said, the only thing missing is Ed. And I did say that. So.
It's true. It's true. And then at one point I said to Eric, I said, is there anyone in the world who would be enjoying this more than Ed Rivero right now? And Eric's answer was, you and me?
But no, it was a ton of fun. Just him and I catching up since it's been May since I've seen him, and just chatting up till 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Well, for like 2 seconds. So she
Shannon
came
was like,
down.
I'm out.
Samantha didn't even come down. She was too much of a celebrity, and she's like, I don't want the paparazzi around.
Superstar of episode 128 of the Year in Front average.
So Shannon came down with a lot of sleep in her eyes and met Amy and Paul for like 2 seconds, and then she's like, I'm going to bed. And then so the three of us then went to Johnny Rockets, sat there and had some drinks and chatted.
Dude, I would have been up there. I'll be honest with you, I would have been like, oh, okay, go. I'll stay here, because that was my whole thing. I was like, I'm going to there to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah.
You should have seen me. Like, I was like, not to put it, make it downer, but like, I was legit angry.
Yeah.
Like the whole weekend. Not at you guys, because obviously you had no control over this, but like at the fact that like everything got like completely destroyed as far as my plans were concerned. You know what I mean? Because I even told Eric, I'm like, Eric, and pardon my language, but like, I've been fucking with you this whole time. He was like, you have? I was like, yeah, dude, I got my flights, I got my hotel, everything has been ready, dude. Yeah. I was like,
and then he didn't show anyways. So
I know this stretch, like we were when Ranger Amy and I went to Japan last month, it was like we were stressed out. There was a typhoon. We actually canceled our hotel so that we didn't get charged for it, and we had to rebook when it ended up being okay. But like, I remember going through this and then just like that relief of like, oh, thank goodness it's all going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I kind of had that in my head with you, Ed. I was like, he's going to go through this, but like, he'll get here. He'll be all right.
And I was even looking, I was like, all right, I'll just drive to Charlotte and take the plane in Charlotte. Like, I was literally doing that. I was like, all right, it's only going to take me 2 hours, hour and a half. If I'm doing 100, not a problem. I can do this, but like the whole weather was just like, I mean, we had a tornado warning that day.
Yeah.
That's what Val's like, which other airports can he leave out of if he can't get out of Durham? So
Val wouldn't accept it. She was like, no.
I looked at everything. I really did. And I'm like, man, and the good thing is like early that week, I'm like, you know what? Let me get insurance on my Expedia plan. I was like, let me put insurance on it, which was like, I don't know, I think it was like $15-$16, know, because I didn't want to lose out on all that money. And thank God I did, because, I would have been out a lot of money.
I know that sucks.
Yeah,
you need that money for the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah,
I still think Val thinks you're coming.
Val is still waiting for me.
Still tracking
she's tracking me right now.
I think it was the 7th inning stretch where Val was first like, wait a minute, maybe it's not coming.
All right, so he really is not coming, is he?
But I'm going to the Fall League in like 2 weeks. When are you guys going? Because maybe I'll like come
So
home.
it might be, what was it, Paul? We were talking about the first or second week in November?
First or second weekend of November would work.
So I was looking at it earlier, because the first weekend is in the night game is Surprise Arizona.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the
Scorpions.
Yeah, no, Saguaros.
Oh.
Yes, the Saguaros. That's the Cleveland team. I know that because I looked that up today. By the way, I didn't even know who the other Cleveland players were.
It changes every year.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I have one experience at the Arizona Fall League, and it was 2 years ago's championship, and it's it was actually chilly that night. Like I remember it was actually chilly, but it was like it was 10 o'clock in the morning and I was in Colorado and Amy texted me. She was still living in Arizona then. And she's like, you should come see the Arizona Fall League Championship game. And like literally 3 hours later, I was on a plane on my way to Phoenix. That's and awesome. got to see that. But it's fun, and it's like in the Arizona spring training ballparks, which are real nice. So first or second weekend. And we are going to see Hamilton, which is why we can't go for the championship game on November 16th.
I gave him crap about that.
Josh or Billy?
Billy Hamilton. Yeah,
nice,
Billy.
Nicely done.
Billy.
Not Josh Hamilton, please.
I did go and stand behind Paul and watch him play blackjack for an hour. He's like, jump in here. I'm like, I've never played, and now I regret it and wish I would have. He's like, next time, but I don't know when the next time's going to be. I should have just got in and played and lost all my money.
You wouldn't have lost your money, though. I won both times I sat down.
He wasn't the first guy. I don't know who you had the second time, but the first dealer wasn't overly friendly. He just wasn't very talkative.
Yeah, he wasn't unfriendly.
He was just like, here, let's go.
For the most part, it was just Paul. There was a couple times a guy came down and sat down for like 2 hands, and then left, and then another guy came, but then we kind of finished up. But
yeah, that's a sort of weird vibe. It was just like me at a blackjack table by myself, and I'm not like the world's biggest gambler.
Real degenerate right there.
but with these dealers, they want you to win, and they'll tell you what the play is. I mean, like the thing I like about blackjack is like if you play by the rules, if you play by like the percentages, you have close to a 50% chance of winning.
But the house will always win.
If you play long enough, but that's why if you play for a little bit and you're up, you stand up.
You move on.
So I did that twice. I was up 50 and then I was up 70. It's not like it's a ton of money, right? But it was like it paid for some things, and I stood up. But it was funny because the second time I played was right before we drove out to the baseball game, and the table, it was like everyone was just like looking like really morose, right? Like so, I hadn't actually had anything to drink at that point, but I sat down and I started joking with everybody, and I was just like trying to be funny with everyone and like cheering them on if they got good cards or whatever. And the table like literally turned around the moment I sat down, like everyone's luck started getting better. I'm not saying that that's because of me, but it was funny because we played for a little bit. Everybody's winning. I'm up like $50-$70 at this point. And that's when Val calls. And I like push back because you're not allowed to be on your phone at the blackjack table. So I push back to take the phone call and skip a hand. And everyone's just like, no, don't go because like you're good luck for the table.
You can't just walk away. I mean, when you're on the hot hand.
Yeah. So I've never met Val before. She's done all this stuff for us for this ball game. And I'm like, Val, I can't talk. I'm at the blackjack table. I'll call you later. Bye.
It was all good. The original plan was to go meet up with you guys, but because Ed didn't show up, I had more time, so we went to Red Rock to go gamble. So I freaking crapped out like 4 times in a row. So
no, craps, boy, it comes and it goes fast with craps. I don't have the stomach to play craps for any length of time.
I love to play the field. That's usually like where all my luck is. But then like I went to Sportsbook and placed some bets, and it was all good.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Paul, Eric, Val, and myself. We had a lot of fun. Now, remember, this is only part 1. Come back next week. Part 2 is just as fun. We discuss more of the AAA Championship, future plans. That's right, future plans as far as what's going to happen with Carbon Media into 2024. Into the end of 2024 and into 2025. Make sure you guys are following Eric, the Earn for an Average podcast, Paul Caputo, the Baseball by Design podcast, as well as Val and I on the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. Also, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Is going to be the Dad Hat Chronicles sports show. Make sure you guys are following. We're back on Twitter. Live, so make sure you catch us at that time. Until then, guys, keep grinding and support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Kelly Robinson, the Minor League Nerd. My YouTube channel explores the history of minor league baseball teams. More than just stats, we delve into team lineage, sharing stories from current franchises to obscure one-year wonders.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball. So get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series. And in every episode, I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.